welcome back to my channel. Okay, so on today's topic, we're going to talk about communication. This could be in a relationship or at work in general. It could help you out, yeah. So I am looking this up because I can communicate with people, but, I'm lacking in some parts of my communication. Not in the workplace, more of like in relationship wise, so it can help you in the relationship. I went to www.helpguide.org and they have I'll put it down in the link below. So, effective communication, improving communication skills in your work and personal relationships. I'm not going to read all of this because it's just, you could read it yourself, but I'm going to add my own opinions on some of the stuff, so I will add in a few things. Effective communication is more than just exchanging information. It's about understanding the emotion and intentions behind the information, as well as being able to clearly convey a message. You need to also listen in a way that gains the full meaning of what's being said and makes the other person feel heard and understood. That's true. That's what communication's all about, but sometimes you say things that you don't really mean to, especially when you're angry, when you have a conversation and you're trying to communicate, but it comes out more aggressive than it actually should be. And it happens. What are you going to do about it? But, what they suggest is effective communication skills. There's a set of 4. One is engaging listening, a nonverbal communication, managing stress in the moment, asserting yourself in a respectful way. Okay, engaging listening. Probably what they mean by that is, you listen to what one person has to say, don't interrupt, and then once they're done saying their piece, then you go and say yours. Non-verbal communication. I mean, if you're like me and you do have a hard time communicating verbally, what you can do is just write it down, what you feel like saying. I'm better at writing it than actually saying it. And sometimes even, you're just going to end up finding out that you're either right or wrong at whatever has been bugging you at that point. Managing stress in the moment. When you have an argument, it's... how can I put this? Okay, when it comes to work, let's separate the two. Stop texting me. That's so rude. When it comes to work, there's always going to be stress, with all the workload and the customers, and it's the best thing you can do is just take a deep breath and stop for just a moment and just be like, okay, I need to calm down. I'm a little stressed out. Just take a deep breath and continue on with what you're doing. Just take things one at a time. Don't try to get everything done at once, because then you're not going to get anything done. You're going to have 5 things that you need to do today, and you haven't gotten a single one done because you did a little bit here, a little bit there. It's better to do it one at a time. In a relationship, when it's managing stress, it's better to just talk it through, because the more you keep it inside, the worse it can get. And trust me, that's a relationship ender if you don't say what you need to say. Asserting yourself in a respectful way. Okay, so it doesn't mean you have to raise your voice. It doesn't mean you have to start cursing up a storm, even though we know we all do it. When we're angry and we're trying to get a point across and they're not understanding, you just have the need to just curse and curse and curse, but you shouldn't do that. It's not inappropriate. It's very rude to actually curse in front of anyone, regardless of who they are. Everybody wants respect, so you have to respect them, and then they will respect you. Sometimes you don't get the respect, and, you should be proud that you showed them respect either way. That's the point. You're the one who needs to be more of the respectful person if they're not going to be it. Makes you the better person for doing it that way. Okay, and let's see. I'm just reading a few things. I don't want to read everything because you could always go here. Alright, so they're talking about body language. See, this is what happens when you don't read everything. You just get confused. And they basically tell you, they're basically telling you how you can put these communication skills that I have listened into effect, how you want to do it. Like, for an example, becoming an engaged listener. When communicating with others, we often focus on what we should say. And that's true. There's a lot of times I focus on too much on what I'm going to say, and I end up saying something I didn't really mean to say because I'm overthinking everything. And I think at one point we all overthink what we say. And, it happens. But you should try and communicate with everyone better. There's always room for improvement. If you feel like you don't need to improve in your communication skills, you're fine. I think when it comes to customers, a lot of them are grumpy and upset, and they take it out on you, and it's not your fault. It just ends up happening, and the only thing you could do is try to brighten up their day, but by you being grumpy and them being grumpy, it just makes things worse. So when you are upset about something and you're at work, or whether it's about a coworker or something that at home, I believe the best thing you should do is think of something that does make you happy. Because, even just a smile can change, or even a joke, as long as it's an appropriate joke. Not, it's got to be appropriate, otherwise you might get fired. Anything to make the customer smile should put a smile on your face. Because when they're happy, that means they're going to come back and buy some more stuff from the store. It's a win-win, if you think about it. And they a good listener, it's just, sometimes you don't want to hear what the other person is saying because you believe you're right. And you could be right. There's a possibility that whatever the situation is, you are right. And I believe that when they say the customer is always right, I don't believe that. A good portion of the time they are correct, but you can't say all the time that the customer is right. Like, okay, here's an example. I worked in a restaurant, and I did the pastries and everything, and my hair is like a dark brown. I made a plate for a customer, and I am very neat and clean. My hair is always up. I make sure to comb it, make sure there's no hair on me at all before even starting the day. And, there's always going to be those few hairs that get out that you didn't see, but coworker comes back and says that there was a hair on it, and she goes and says it was a black hair, and I go and say, well, I don't have black hair. And they're like, well, just make another one, the customer is always right. I go and say, okay, I'll make another one, you're right, that's what's always been said, is the customer's always right. So I make another one, and I go and say, listen, what's the color of her hair? And get back to me. So she goes out there, gives them the dessert. They didn't have to pay for the dessert because of the hair. And she comes back and goes and says she has black hair. Now, I do have brown hair, but it's not a light brown. It's like a dark brown, and it has a few blonde highlights. But, you know, it could have fell from her hair, and my coworker's blonde. So it wasn't her hair, and it wasn't my hair, so it's the customer's hair. But you can't fight the customer on that. What are you gonna do? Just grin and bear it. That's what we're told to do. Grin and bear it. I probably got off track there. Because we were talking about listening. When people are talking, the best thing to do is just listen to what they have to say. And I know, if you're like me, you want to listen to what they have to say, but when they say something and you want to jump on that conversation, the only reason why I want to jump on the conversation is because if I don't jump on it when you're asking that, I'm going to forget what I wanted to say. So if you're like me and you're going to forget what you want to say, bring a pen and paper. And when they say something, you just say, listen, hold on, I got to write this down, and have them continue. I think that's the best way to do it. I mean, this is not coming off of them. This isn't my opinion. You know, I use a few things from this article, but this is completely my opinion on how I do things that I haven't done yet. So when it comes to it, I think that's what I'm going to do, because most of the time I do forget what I want to say. They even say, avoid interrupting or trying to redirect the conversation to your concerns by saying something like, if you think that's bad, let me tell you what happened to me. Really? I don't think I've ever said that in a sentence. I don't think I've ever used that sentence when, I don't redirect it that way. I just go and say, you know, if I'm interrupting, well, you know, this so-and-so, that, well, I don't freaking know what conversation I'm even thinking in my head. But, and they say try to set aside judgment. In order to communicate effectively with somebody, you don't have to be like them or agree with their ideas, values, or opinions. That's true. You don't. If a customer comes in, for example, and they buy this sweater and you think it looks ugly, and they're like, this is so cute, this would look cute on you. Well, I don't think a customer's gonna come in and say that, but that's not the point. But, you know, example wise, if they do that, you'd be like, just be like, oh yeah, it looks cute, and yeah, you're lying, but in the end it might put a smile on their face, so what's the problem there? So what you have to do, like they're saying, pay attention to nonverbal signs or signals, sorry. What that means is don't just listen. Also, eye contact is important. Their posture, their tone of voice, breathing, muscle tension, and facial expressions, you know, body language, you know, some people are more like me, because I use my hands a lot when talking. Depending on the subject, if I want to be funny, my hands will go out a little bit more wide. I'll make myself look big when I'm trying to be funny. But when I'm angry, I'm more like, you can see in my eyes I am angry. You can tell by my voice because I get louder, and my facial expression, you can tell, but I don't make myself big. I will probably clench my fist, but nothing's gonna happen unless, it involves a fight. But I don't fight. I don't like to fight. It's not a situation anyone should get themselves in, because it only makes things worse. Trust me, fighting makes everything worse. And whatever you're fighting about, just let it go. Just don't even bother. Just wipe it off your shoulder. Okay. Okay, communicate communicate effectively by staying calm under pressure. Now, what's running through my head is like, how do you stay calm under pressure? Now, I've been under a lot of pressure at one point before, and I can't say I lost it. It's just because if you lose it, that means a lot of yelling and everything. It's just more of just like my body couldn't handle the pressure I was putting it under. I'm talking about work, by the way. So, they gave me a few options, and I will list them all. One is use stalling tactics to give yourself time to think. Ask for a question to be repeated or for clarification of a statement before you respond. Yeah, that's what you probably should do. That is very helpful, because I know you probably don't like to repeat yourself a million times, but some people, no one's the same. No one learns the same way. Sometimes it takes people a longer time. Sometimes they can get it like that. Everyone's different, and you can't get mad at the fact that they can't get it right the first time. So if you feel like you just keep repeating, so what you do is you write down what needs to be done and be like, listen, I have a lot of things that needs to be done today, so to make it easier for you, is this the best way to put it? You could do it this way. You don't have to. I could be wrong. I'm overanalyzing everything I say. But, I made this list of things that you can do today. You don't have to do all of them today, but these I would love it if you could get it done. And you hand them the list. Now, you have to put it in a way that doesn't sound mean or anything, because everybody is sensitive and some people aren't that sensitive, but it's better to don't treat them like they're a child. Treat them like they're an adult, but I feel like I'm treating them like a child saying it that way. I'm trying to be more like calm about it and everything. I don't know if it worked. I mean, you could leave your opinions down below if that even sounded correct. I'm overanalyzing to the extreme on that one. So, another thing you can do to stay calm under pressure, I said it before, pause and collect your thoughts. Silence isn't necessarily a bad thing. Pausing can make you seem more in control than rushing your response. This is true. The faster you try to do everything, the worse it's going to be. The slower you do it, the more you take your time, the more things can get done. Make one point and provide an example or supporting piece of information. If your response is too long or you waffle about a number of points, you risk losing the listener's interest. Follow one point with an example and then gauge the listener's reaction to tell if you should make a second point. Okay, let's see if I could sum that up. I don't know, waffle? You waffle about a number of points. I don't think I understand understand that, right? Why would you put waffle? Basically, keep it short and to the point. I guess that's what it is. Because I guess it would be like, I don't know if this is a good example. I guess it would be like telling a joke. If the joke's too long, the person listening is gonna not be interested. Because the longer the joke, the less funny it can be. I mean, some people could probably pull it off. I don't know too many that can. Yeah. Just, they may... Jokes, some people who do jokes, they make a story out of it, but the story has, like, the best punchline, so it's... That might be the worst example I have. So, again, the whole waffle thing threw me off. But basically, just don't make it too long to get to your point. Don't make it too long to get to the point you're trying to get to, like I am right now. Deliver your words clearly. In many cases, how you say something can be important as what you say. Speak clearly, maintain an even tone, and make eye contact. Keep your body language relaxed and open. Okay. So, again, how you say something can be important as what you say. You have to be very careful what you say, because something that you say can be very offensive or can be taken the wrong way. I've done it before and I really didn't mean to. This lady came in and walked in. She wanted to purchase something. And I didn't want her to overpay for what she was buying. Because where I was working, she could have gotten a lot of it that she didn't need, so she would have had extra of it, and she'd be paying all this money, and I thought I was doing a good thing, but how I worded it was not the proper way of doing it, and I ended up making her feel offended by what I said. And when I tried to explain it to her, she was already too angry with me, so I felt really bad and apologized. I was like, I didn't mean for it to come out that way. I just wanted you to have what you want and not spend too much money to get it. And I still felt bad, and I don't know. The customer did come back, though. The customer, nothing happened there. She still bought what she bought and everything, I didn't get in trouble. She was a nice lady. I just really didn't want her to pay too much, and that was my mistake for not wording what I wanted to say correctly. Now, speak clearly, maintain an even tone, and make eye contact. I'm gonna be honest, the only time I maintain eye contact is every once in a while. If I'm on a job interview, I'm looking at them throughout the whole time, but it's difficult. And they tell you to relax, but you're on a job interview. You can't be relaxed because you're nervous. You're trying to get the job, and what are you gonna do? It's better to stay relaxed. Now, when they say to stay relaxed and open, what they mean is don't keep yourself closed in. Like, you have to if you're sitting, you gotta sit up straight, look straight at them, and don't put your hands on your lap, because that's kind of a closing yourself out type of thing, I believe. I don't remember too much, but it's best to just, put your hands on your side and just focus on what's at hand. wrap up with a summary and then stop. Summarize your response and then stop talking. Even if it leaves a silence in the room, you don't have to fill the silence by continuing talking. Okay, you can do that. I don't like silence too much because I feel like it's a bad thing. But sometimes it's better to leave things alone than have it continue and make things worse. So I guess that you should go with that. I just don't understand how that's gonna work in a job-related thing, but I guess that would work. If you're having trouble with a coworker, it's best to leave it in silence than continuing talking and make things worse. Yeah. But here's another one. Look for humor in a situation, when used appropriately. When something's going down and it's a negative thing, there's a way you can switch it around, but it's very hard. I was at work and everybody was stressed to the max. Everyone was on edge because it was, around the holidays, and it was ridiculous. Even I was stressed out. But there's times where I was like, okay, everybody's stressed out. I'm stressed out. I gotta do something. So I would start joking around with people and saying, are you okay? You're doing a good job and everything. And they're smiling and they're being more productive now that they got a compliment and everything. So I try to make everyone else happy, even though I'm not happy myself, because happiness is contagious. Once one person is happy, then another, it's very contagious. And sometimes it isn't, some people just stay grumpy and there's nothing you can do about it. Assert yourself. Direct, assertive expression makes for clear communication and can help boost your self-esteem and decision-making. Being assertive means expressing your thoughts, feelings, and needs in an open and honest way while standing up for yourself and respecting others. And that pretty much sums up everything. So it's here we go. Effective communication is always about understanding the other person, not about winning an argument or forcing your opinions onto others. That is correct. Most of the time when an argument does go down, I get one side of the story, then the other side of the story, and whoever saw it, I get their side of the story. In the end, it's just, you have to diffuse the situation at hand. The best way to do it is be like, listen, this went down, and you have to understand that in a workplace or at home, sometimes for the sake of whatever's going on, for the people around you, it's better to just apologize, because you're a better person for apologizing for whatever it is. Even if it isn't your fault, just be like, I'm sorry for what I said. I was just really angry or, upset, and I took it out on you, and I am really sorry that I did that. And that's how you end the problem at hand. Or if it's a relationship, just be like, okay, if you want to be right, you're right. I'm wrong. That's fine. Let's just end this conversation and do what needs to be done. That's it. That's all you gotta do. And they have a lot more stuff that they say on here. I actually am at the bottom of the page, so that ends up being like the last thing. But communication is key in everything. You're gonna have to communicate with somebody in your life at some point. And sometimes it's going to be good, and sometimes it's going to be bad. There's nothing you can do about it. The only thing you can do is try. If you don't try, then what's the point? There's no point if you don't try hard. Because, you know, I can't... like, my communication's not even that great sometimes. Like, depending on what the situation is. But if you actually try, you might make it out okay if you actually try. Don't stray from the path that you have unless it doesn't work out. You know, just do your best, and you'll succeed no matter what. Alright, well, tune in tomorrow, and like, comment, and subscribe.